That's right, we are going to go through 4 things Caribou can teach us about music making. So, Slanjava music producers, how are you doing? My name's David, you are tuned into Whisky and Synths. This is the channel that blends whiskey drinking with music making. I've made music for over 15 years. I've worked in studios and I run a studio in Canterbury in Kent right now, and I've helped over 500 music makers like you get tracks out there, get them finished, and even get gigs and stuff like that as well. And this series, I want to help you today by finding out lessons from Caribou. What did Caribou teach me about music I can share with you? Now, if you've not heard of Caribou, he's Dan Snaith, Grammy-nominated producer. This guy's done so much music in his life, won multiple other awards, and even has a side project, Daphne, that's more club focused, where Caribou's a bit more electronica and vibey. It's so cool. The amount of stuff he makes is amazing, always inventive and interesting as well. So I'm excited to share these 4 tips with you. We're going to do it in a kind of podcast style where I just chat about the tips, and hopefully you can take that away and use it in your own productions. It's for intermediate, advanced music producers. You can just take these ideas and go and run with it. I hope you enjoy them and hope you enjoy this style of video. If that's for you, let's get into it. So tip 1 is all about searching and feeling for ideas, is the process he describes when making tracks in an album. He said that for the last album, he had over 900 Ableton projects for it. 900! So don't feel too guilty about those demos piling up on your hard drive. And he actually went back and counted them in the one folder and looked how many there was. And he said he just loves generating ideas. He also said, don't try and develop ideas that are half good. It's okay to make loads of ideas, but give it the test of coming back to the next day and are you still excited about it? If the answer is like, maybe just make something new and go on like that. He said, throw darts at the board until something really sticks, and you'll know in your heart when something's really exciting and really worth developing. See what it sounds like tomorrow was the mentality. And also he said, rely on other people you trust, especially not always music makers, because your family, friends, you might have music fans in your family who are amazing, who actually can have good taste even though they don't make music. And he said sometimes projects he thought were for the bin were saved from the bin by his trusted circle of people. So don't be afraid to show your work to people, build up trust with people who are awesome, and take their advice sometimes. It might save some tracks from the bin for you guys. Okay, tip 2 is all about consistency. Now, he said when he was making the latest album, he had to really just go into the studio every day. And this is something he loves, going into the studio every day, making stuff, and just doing it even for a little bit every day. And he said this is what built up to the 900 projects, but this consistency of making something new was really important to him. And he said he would create something that was about 30 seconds long each day and then come back to the next day and decide whether it was worth it. And this tip is tying in with the first point, I guess, but it's less so much about the volume and just about this consistent approach to it. He actually said, if I make a track and then make another one and choose the best out of those 2, then that's going to give a better result than if I just made one. So consistently showing up is another important lesson from Caribou, as well as the sort of volume over time from the first point. So are you one of those producers who does have loads of unfinished projects in their hard drive like Caribou? Let me know in the comments. But it's frustrating when you get none of them finished. I know you want to get some of them finished and out there and release your best ones. Well, I've got something that can help. It's a resource called Finish That Damn Track, a free thing I've made for you guys to help. And it's like 10 steps over 10 days, and it helps you follow a process to get your track self-mastered and ready for release. And at the end of every year on my label, Tonic Note Records, we even put out a compilation of my people's work, people from the clan who've done this kind of thing. So if you want the chance of getting released as well, and we release loads of the tracks that get submitted to us, this could be for you. So click below, 10 days, 10 steps, 1 finished track, a process you can repeat, and you're not even gonna have to put in more time than you normally do in your music production. I just help you use that time more efficiently. So if that sounds good to you, click below and I'll get it sent out to you. Nice one. So another lesson Caribou mentioned was using different approaches to different albums, which I thought was really cool. So letting this sort of idea of how you're going to make the music change per album. Now, he actually said what was quite cool is Our Love was very polished and shiny sounding, lots of rich poly synths. The world awash with synthesis, it's inescapable. So, you know, whether it was the Blade Runner soundtrack at the time running, and he said for the album after, you want to pull back from that a little bit and wanted to do more sampling. So there's a lot of omnisphere on it, which was a kind of sample-based instrument inspired for music kind of composers for films, but he used that a lot on it. And he said sometimes it would use it a little bit of a different ways, which we'll come to in a minute. And he said there's a lot of individual sampled hits, but also tracks that have whole loops of other tracks within them as well. So depending what you're going for, maybe you're reacting to the way the music scene is, or maybe you're reacting to what you did previously. It's always good to mix up your process and try new tricks on different EPs or different albums. And because it's you at the end of the day, you'll hopefully still have a common thread through your work, but you'll always be progressing, tweaking and changing, whereas Caribou did it quite drastically, quite drastic different approaches on each album. Now, point 4 related to that is using sounds out of context, especially to do with the sampling. With that Omnisphere plugin, it had a great bass guitar sound on it and guitar sound, but you would play it in with like a MIDI keyboard and use the pitch bend wheel on it and do stuff that a normal bass guitar couldn't do. So it kind of sounds like, whoa, it's a bit odd to the ear. And even if you're not a guitarist or bassist, you might kind of feel it rather than like kind of subconsciously feel it. And he said that was quite cool. The guitar part isn't a guitar part at all. You'll not play the same things in voicings like someone would on an actual guitar if you're playing it on keyboard. So it has this familiar feeling, but feels kind of ethereal and just odd, which is quite cool. So that's one of the quotes from Caribou on this. So that might be worth trying. And if you can't afford Omnisphere, fair enough. I think it's one of the more expensive plugins. Try Spitfire Audio Labs, which is sample-based, realistic sounding instruments where you might be able to use out of context and get that ethereal feel to it as well. Now drop a comment below if that's something you're interested in doing yourself or if you've maybe tried before. I'm thinking there was quite a lot of tips from Caribou in the research, and there might be a part 2 to this video, so comment if you'd like that. I also want to say once again, thanks for watching this. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've got some tips out of these 4 tips you can use in your own workflow and your own music production. And also, like I said, if you are hitting a brick wall and need someone to help, I've got my Finish That Damn Track kind of like challenge that it's like delivered over email, and you get like a PDF each day. It's got artist tips in it every day, quotes, and basically checklists for you to follow, where each day you've got an objective, what you need to do, and then actions, what do you need to do to get to that objective. And he just breaks it down into how you can finish your track and get it self-mastered and out there for release. And I just, hopefully with these videos and with that kind of thing, it's just, you know, I'm here to share music making with everyone, help people make the music they want to make and bring joy in the world. So yeah, hopefully that's useful to you guys. Hopefully the other videos on the channel are as well. But maybe it's time you go fire up Ableton and get music making. I'll catch you later. Cheers guys, thanks. Whiskey and Synths.